The Art Lewis Show. Coming up after the 10 o'clock news, we'll have open phones at 11 o'clock. Ken Buck from Buck Insurance will be along to talk about insurance in 2026. But we're going to spend this hour talking about one of my favorite events, and I gather from the amount of people that attend, one of the best events in this area, and that, of course, is Zender Snowfest. And with us to talk about it, we say good morning to John Shelton.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you.
As always, my friend. Nice to have you here. How many years for Snowfest now?
35th.
Is it really?
We were just laughing about that the other day. I was thinking, like, wow. When we first started, I had hair, and I was 32 years old.
And now you're semi-retired.
Yeah, I'm semi-retired. So, yeah, this is 35 years. So, we've been very blessed to have the opportunity. Looking back 32 years ago, I don't think, who could imagine that we would, have this type of sustainability. And so we feel fortunate that this has continued for us.
If you go back to Snowfest number 1, number 2, compare it to number 34, 35, how different?
Oh, 1 and 2, we were clueless. And we were just kind of...
Yeah, but I remember they were clueless, but it was great.
It was very successful, but what I mean by being clueless from the efficiency standpoint, what we really learned, we didn't know how to set it up. It took, for example, the first year, John Zender, at the time was our food and beverage director and executive chef. Well, he got some of his culinary buddies, and let's do some ice carvings, and we had 9, I think. Yeah. And we also had 8 or 9 snow blocks, but it took us 2 weeks to set up 8 or 9 snow blocks. It'll take us maybe 3 days to set up 55 snow blocks. So the efficiency of how to do the work is really kind of like what we really grew and understood how to make this really, really very successful. And remember when we first started selling ice carvings in front of the businesses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I got that idea from going to the Plymouth Ice Show one year. And I went to a pharmacy, and I saw an ice carving in front of it, and I asked the gentleman, like, we paid for that. And so I kind of looked under it. It had some blue skirting, but it was cinder blocks on a board with the ice carving on it. So I was like, okay, guess how we do it. But just logging cinder blocks all over it. It took about maybe 8 to 10 cinder blocks to do it. So it was just like very tedious work. Now we have stands that you'd stack, and so... Right. I think we can put up about 100 ice carving stands in a couple hours, where before it took us a couple days. So that's where we really got clever.
How many ice carvers do you need to do that if you sell them all?
Oh, well, it's a company. We use there's Rock on Ice out of it's in Columbus, Ohio.
So let me guess, they use a CNC machine and program it in a computer.
For the logos and things like that. So it'll come on a big truck.
Yeah.
Okay, the other company is Ice Creations, and we've been using both of those companies for probably at least 25, 30 years, if not.
The things you just don't know.
It's just back when you answered the question, year 1 and 2, you don't know what you don't know. Compared to year 34, 35, we just got smarter. And so we learned real quick how to work smarter than harder. And so then, after the first year, probably the biggest change from year 1 to year 2, we added the warming tent, but we didn't heat it. We didn't know, we put a tent out there.
Yeah, I
and
know.
It was still cold. It was like, okay, well now year 3, let's add heat. And then even how we added heat, we got smarter with that. And so then the entertainment component came on board after year 2.
Best part about the heat, I get out there about 7:30, and they've started them up for me.
Oh yeah. We know. We go. Hey, Art's coming today. They're going to be in early. So I think they get out there about 6:30, and start turning them on. It's nice and toasty by the time.
By the time I get there, it's nice inside. Yeah. It's. Before we get too far along here, we should tell everybody the dates. Just for the fun of it.
January 28th through February 1st. So we start Wednesday. Once again, Michigan Sugar is proud sponsor of our baking contest.
And that's different this year.
Yes, we call it the ABC.
You got 3 different categories.
Apples, brownies, and cupcakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so in each category, we probably will have, I haven't looked at the final numbers, but I think we'll have about 10 people in each category.
Usually somewhere
in there. And so,
otherwise it gets unruly.
Yeah. Well, you that's your job as MC. You got to control that. Okay, so if it gets unruly, I know who to blame. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, security. I have to call security for the baking contest, Art. So no, we've changed it up. we've always had for, about a decade probably, the all things chocolate. So we finally said but Michigan Sugar, we said, hey, we really like that.
Yeah,
it worked well and worked with Rob Clark
yep.
For many years, but he's moved on.
Tyler now is the guy.
And Lindsay Richards is another individual we've kind of had contact with on that. So we just decided, you know what, let's try to change it up just a little bit.
I remember the days when it was the Michigan Apple Commission.
Yes, remember we had the Apple
apples.
Queen come.
Yeah, it was all apples.
So we're a little slow, but this is what our third category in 35 years: apples, all things chocolate. Now we're going back a little back to apples, a little bit back to our history with apples, and we added the brownies and we added the cupcakes.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we look forward to it, and obviously appreciate everything you guys do to help make that successful.
It's fun for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I look forward to it. I can't, it's like yesterday I was there, and here it is again.
Yeah, and so it just comes quick. And then obviously we start Wednesday night. It's kind of officially the snow carving exhibition and competition pieces. And Thursday, snow carving all day, and we have the Zender's Bingo, which is very popular from 1 to 3. On Thursday. Then Friday, as you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend is really when it kind of kicks off, with Saturday being the highlight from the crowd standpoint, as well as the annual fireworks.
Lots of great music.
Yes, yeah, we have Donnie Brown and the Stone Street Revival. They're Saturday afternoon.
Really?
He's fantastic. He does a lot with us, just with our dinner shows throughout the year as well. I always kid him. He's one of the few musicians I know that, man, you have about 9 bands and you really know how to rebrand yourself.
He does.
Yeah, he does a great job with it. So,
but here's a guy, people don't realize this, in the Stone Street Revival, Donnie was on the Tonight Show 3 times. I don't know if it's his bass guitarist, the big fellow that sits
he's
down.
in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Country Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
The gal who fronts is phenomenal. I mean, they're that whole band is
very talented,
very
very
talented. They really are.
So we always enjoy working with him. And
I'll send you the bill, Donnie. It's all right.
And then we had, like I said, a rock show Saturday night, a country night, Chi-Town. Then we have the Sauce Cats on.
Oh yeah, that's
on Sunday.
I think. Was it last year or the year before? It was their first time back because they
maybe 2 years ago.
They retired out.
They
they came back.
In fact,
again.
they used to be our headliner.
I know
it. Okay,
they
put on a great show.
Oh yeah.
And so, so all in all, it's just a wide variety of different type of genres, and we think people come out and really enjoy themselves. And then we have a guy, Joel Tacey. He does magic shows on Saturday and Sunday for the kids, and so with the petting zoo's back, the pony rides are back, the carousel's back. So. All in all, our goal is always try to be entertaining for the entire family. So we think we've been able to accomplish that. And, I just kind of was adding up some numbers. And as you mentioned, the 35th year, we have interacted with about 4 million people with Snowfest.
I would have to guess at least that many.
Yeah, so that's something to be proud about.
It's probably over 100,000 come.
Yeah. And we were on I don't know if you remember, but I think 1996. I might be getting my dates mixed up here, but we were on the Today Show with Willie Scott.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
So we've been able to achieve some national recognition.
But the overriding question, the biggest single question, is the restaurant open?
We'll be open. But it's funny. Going back, when you're talking about the first day, first year of Snowfest, I was just laughing with one of our managers, VPs. That first year, we got our butts kicked. Okay, we were because we didn't.
But you didn't know what to expect.
We didn't know. The guy kept saying, "Well, probably going to bring 90,000 people." And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if we have 5,000, we'd be ecstatic. And we had about 90,000 people. And I mean, we had a little added staffing, but we're like, I remember John Zender telling the kitchen team, like, don't go crazy with this because we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I did, and Al Zender and my brother-in-law, we were just kind of like speculating, like, okay. And so we weren't prepared for 90,000 people, but we didn't care because it was like, look at all these people, how great this is. But we got whooped on that day.
The thing that always impressed me about it, and whether it was by luck or design, you picked the perfect weekend because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
That was, people were starving for an activity, and that was the time.
And I think looking back on it, I kind of thought in the back of my mind, if nothing else goes right, they can always have a great meal here at Zenders.
Yeah, that's
so,
why
and I think people are thinking, like, you know what? We don't know really what they're talking about, but it's Frankenmuth, and it's a reason. Just let's go up there. If nothing else, let's go eat. And so they knew that was going to be, in all probability, a very positive experience.
Yeah.
They didn't know about the other part, but I can just remember back then our front porch was different, and there was like more grass. It wasn't as big, and so we just put the 9 ice carvings out in front of the grass.
Yep.
People were walking in the street trying to take pictures of these ice carvings. And, you know, they were nice, but it was almost kind of like just like that ice carving.
Dangerous,
yeah, it was very dangerous. But the ice carving itself at that time was more like what you saw on a buffet for a wedding. It was cool, but it was but now they're just the work that they do, and then how John helped put that whole program together with NICA, and then we started doing the college championship and things like that, and just really saw what they could create. But it was kind of simple ice carvings, but it was fantastic for everybody else because it was like they hadn't seen it, they hadn't experienced it, and so it just worked. But you're right, the time of the year, and that's why we did it. We just we have really nothing to lose from
nothing else going on.
There's nothing, right. And for us, we can only build the business because normally we're trying to, the mindset was always like, you know, it's the time of year, it's slow. We got to really watch our expenses. And I had just joined the company, and I had come from Hyatt Hotels, and I was naive thinking like, well, why don't we try to get revenue? And they're like, well, you can't. It's the wintertime. And I'll never forget. I always tell this story with Zach McClellan from his family, Gary McClellan, a dear friend. And so he supported it was ourselves, Bronner's, and McClellan Properties, Gary McClellan, and basically said, we'll help sponsor. We'll help you kind of help defray the initial cost. He goes, I'm going to help you, but I'm telling you, John, we can't get Jesus to come here in the wintertime. So that was just kind of like the mindset because, you know, for years there was not a reason to do something at that time of year in Frankenmuth because.
Well, Frankenmuth is a walkable town with attractions up and down the streets. And who wants to do that in 10-degree weather?
Yeah.
So
but then, you know, because there was all the tourism season started, you know, at a different time frame. This wasn't tourism season,
and it was colder back then.
Oh
too,
gosh,
on average.
Yeah. And so, but it's I think the coldest one weekend.
I remember
the high was like 4 all weekend.
I actually,
easy.
For whatever reason, I was across the street at the Bavarian Inn doing a remote.
Maybe that's why it was so cold.
Looking out the window at these people that looked like, you know, you couldn't see any skin.
Yeah. Well, you know, people always ask me the question about the weather, and I finally learned a long time ago, I can't worry about things I can't control. But what we do know from a audience participation crowd standpoint, when it's severely cold, toddlers and grandparents stay away. You still have that middle core.
Well, yeah.
But when you have good weather, everybody's coming. So from that 2-year-old to grandma, grandpa, they're coming out.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back talking to John Shelton. Snowfest starts on the 28th of this month, the Zenders Snowfest, and we'll be out there that day. Tell you more about it when we return.
Gotta go. This is a test of the emergency.
Hi, we are back with you in studio, one of my favorite people of all time, although I don't think I've ever told him that.
Well, thank you, Art.
John Shelton from Zenders in Frankenmuth and Zenders Snowfest coming up, and John is one of those individuals that's been involved since day one.
Yeah.
His stamp is all over it.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's funny you said that. We've been reminiscing a lot on this program and the last week, but the original 4 was myself, Linda Kelly, John Zender, and Scott Watkins.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 2 of them are no longer with us.
Yeah. So John's still out there.
Yes.
And he still participates in the hot food competition.
Yeah, and he actually is going to help out with our ice carving alumni challenge on Friday. Yeah,
excellent.
We have like 12 individuals, so he'll help judge that. Yeah, we got to have John around.
I'll have to give him a call, see if I can get him on the show Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah, he's such a neat individual and well recognized across the country.
Oh,
yeah.
The work he did with the ACF.
The ACF is unbelievable.
Yeah, and was, like you said, nationally recognized.
The Golden Toque Society, I always kind of chuckled because it's exactly 100 members nationally. You have to be a top chef to be in it. But somebody has to die before you can get in it because it's limited to 100.
It's very limited. Yeah. So I don't know when the next opening is.
I don't either.
I'm not eligible, so I'm not going to worry about it. So.
Oh, my goodness. But, you look back at Snowfest and how it has grown to what it is today. I mean, realistically, in the beginning, could anybody envision the size of it today?
I don't think we could have sat there day one and said, okay, after the first year, it's going to get to where it is today. But we did see the potential. So as we kind of just added more features to it, and then within the first 5 years, we knew we were like, hey, this is a home run.
Well, yeah.
Then now you know it, and so now you just kind of, again, how do you have the sustainability and how do you kind of keep it unique and fresh. But we've always and then probably just, our overall company philosophy as well, just as trying to grow and improve. But we never sought out to try to be the biggest of anything, but we always felt the quality had to be there. And so we saw that what the uniqueness was that, and the appeal was the fact that people were seeing this type of artwork, whether it was snow or ice, at its highest level.
It's funny you say that, John. You never started out to be number one or the best of anything. Yet year after year after year, the restaurant used to rank number one or number two by plated meals.
Top five. I think we finished in 2023, third in the country, about 940,000 meals.
Times when you were number one and number two. And sitting in little old Frankenmuth, Michigan, here's this restaurant cranking out. You got your own chicken farm someplace?
No, it's just, we've been very, very blessed, but we've been blessed with a lot of good people.
Well, it's blessed, but it's also
things happen for us.
It's also hard work and good decisions. I mean, it doesn't happen without that.
No, I mean that's pretty much the formula for a lot of successes.
Well, yeah.
In business, and we just kind of sit down as a family, as our leadership group, as employees, and I guess the easiest way I can say to our audience, to your audience, is our philosophy is: we know we're not the only restaurant, we know we're not the only water park, hotel, golf course, etc. So since we're not the only one, we might as well try to be the best at it. Okay, just do it better than everybody else. And for us, that formula has been focused on customer service, and if you provide excellence in customer service, you're going to win. So we try to teach ourselves: focus on the guest and not the guest check.
The other thing about it that I have always admired, both sides of the street, these are truly family businesses. And when I say family businesses, the youngsters growing up in the family learn how to do the dishes in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
They work their way up. They're not given privilege. They work their way up the ladder to get there.
Well,
to the point where your son is.
Well, he's the new president. Yeah. But he started out riding his bike, maybe 13 years old. You got to go rake bunkers at the golf course. So, okay, then he was drumstick, so he's done a little bit of everything. Yeah. But you're right. That's just kind of like, so they understand it. So we're very, very excited for Nick as the new president of the company. Bill Paulberg is retiring at the end of this year, so he has an opportunity to work with him in this transition. But that's the same thing for all of us. We kind of call ourselves the Gen 3, and then we have our kids and our nieces and our nephews, Generation 4, coming up and taking significant leadership roles.
So Nick becomes president. Does that automatically make you consultant to the chief executive?
Yes, in the sense of I'm always dad. So if he needs some dad advice, he knows I'm there for him.
All right. Hang on, John. We'll be back. Snowfest starts up the 28th of this month. Zender Snowfest for the 35th year. Let's talk about your tires for a minute because, it's winter. And there are different tires for the winter. Winter tires are different than your everyday tire. And if you stop out at Quick Lane Freeland, not only do they sell all their tires at just $5 over cost, but they know what they're talking about. We've asked John from Quick Lane to tell us about winter tires.
Hello, Art. Yes, winter tires are made with a pliable rubber compound that includes silica to stay flexible and maintain grip in freezing temperatures. Unlike harder all-season tires, which stiffen and lose traction in the cold, this flexible compound allows the tire to better conform to the road surface, providing superior grip and traction on snow and ice to keep you safe.
Thanks, John. You'll find John and his co-workers at Quick Lane Freeland, your place for all your routine maintenance and tires, because, as I said, they sell all their tires at just $5 over cost. Stop out today and have them check your tires for winter driving. While you're there, walk over to the McDonald Ford lot. Take a look at all the new Ford automobiles and SUVs waiting for you, and, of course, the #1 selling pickup truck, the F-150, and their pre-owned lot where they have vehicles for every price range. McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland, 2 names, stand ready to help you with your automotive needs in 2026.
The kinetic energy.
The Sherwin-Williams winter sale and get 30% off paints and stains January.
All right, we're back with you in studio with me, John Shelton from Zenders. Your career, John, is pretty expansive. You've been there how long? 36?
36 and going on years. Yeah.
So what did you start out doing and what did you end up doing? Because you're semi-retired now. You're going down to
when I joined Zenders,
yeah.
It's the director of sales and marketing. And really
so you went in as
sales and marketing that was my position at Hyatt Hotels. And
so you got experience.
Yeah, I left the company, and at the time, I give him all the credit. Al Zender was our president, and kind of knew within probably 3 or 4 years of being, but he had a vision. I feel he had a vision for. We talked about it during my interview and how he saw the company growing, but they didn't have a marketing component or really a group sales component of that, and he felt that was a void that needed to be filled, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I was very happy, and so it just worked out, and so I built the department. But I didn't create anything that was special. I just knew because I knew how to do it. I took what I learned from Hyatt and personalized it towards Zenders, and we just kind of got better at it, and it just kept growing.
I'm always interested in people's careers and how they got there because I know mine and how I got in through a back door and all that stuff. What drew you to the hospitality industry?
I had graduated from Valpo, was living in New York City with my uncle.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, just kind of took I guess it wasn't called a gap year back
hiatus.
Then. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then my wife, Martha, at the time had moved to Las Vegas, getting a second degree in hotel restaurant management. So,
she's a Zender.
Yes. Yeah. And so I went to visit. It was like 75 degrees in February, and I'm living in New York City, and it's awful cold. So I moved, and literally, it's timing, and when I moved out there, the MGM, which you may know as Bally's today, had just started to reopen because they had a fire. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't come back, and Las Vegas Hilton had a fire roughly around at the same time. So they were looking for people, and I don't know. I just said, I think I would be pretty good in sales, but another guy, Lloyd Boothby, he was the VP of sales for the MGM, and he goes, you don't know anything about a hotel, but you've got gumption to walk in here like that and ask that question. And so, I had a college degree and everything. So, and so he goes, but if you're willing to start at the bottom, per se, I can get your job tomorrow at the front desk. And ended up being in reservations and just kind of did that and just kind of started learning the industry. And then I liked it, but then my wife was graduating from getting her second degree. And so now we're trying to figure a career. And
did she know she was coming back to the restaurant? Yeah,
but that was there was a period of time that probably maybe 7 years and went through before we got.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this is 1981 to 84. We were in Las Vegas. In 84, I joined Hyatt, so she was in the Bay Area. I was in the Bay Area, excuse me. She was in Las Vegas, and we were commuting back and forth. And we got married in '86. And so now you're like, okay, but once I got with Hyatt, and I was at the Hyatt Regency in Oakland, California for 3 years, and I learned a lot. One of my first mentors, Deidre McMillan, kind of really taught me the basics, fundamentals. And then, Oakland wasn't a big destination. San Francisco was, but not Oakland. The East Bay wasn't. So you had to grind. So I learned how to grind. And I knew if I got you to come visit the hotel, I was going to sell that. Okay, so just, I'm a competitive guy. I play sports all my life. So that kind of kicked in as well. And I was fortunate to be successful. They recognized it. Was promoted to Atlanta, Georgia. I went to Atlanta, Georgia. And they told me, hey, you're kind of coming out as a director of sales. That's what we're grooming you for. And I asked to come to Michigan. Martha had made some changes in her career for me, and so she wanted to go. My father-in-law was not doing well health-wise, and she wanted to come home. So I promised her, hey, let's go to Atlanta. I'm not going to be here long. And now we have our first child, so things just kind of moved along. And so I accepted the position as the director of sales at the Hyatt Regency in Flint, Michigan. That's how I got here. And I was supposed to be here for 3 years. And I actually had an offer I was supposed to go open up the new Hyatt in Bethesda, Maryland. And Martha had worked for Hyatt, had been in the industry. So Al came in with his vision. We had a discussion, and best decision ever made. I didn't go to Bethesda. We stayed here. I had an opportunity, and the rest is history.
What was your degree in?
Business administration.
Oh, so you were a BA. All right.
Yeah.
So you had some.
Well, they called it a BS back there, but
I understand that.
Yeah, the wrong BS. So Bachelor of Science in Business Administration.
Yeah. I have one of those BSs too.
Yeah, exactly. And it just things I learned a lot. But looking back, I've had two mentors when I first started. Deidre McMillan taught me the fundamentals, and a guy Brian Gamache, who was my director of sales in Atlanta. He kind of taught me. He was always about the charisma. He always said, the smoke and mirrors. You got to get him with the smoke and mirrors, Sheldon. So we learned a lot from him. And so I say that because it was so important to me, and part of my success is because of other people. So I try to play that forward. So I try to be mentors for individuals throughout my career as well.
And I understand that. Because, what I do today, while I had done talk before I got here in '74, they paired me up with Fred Krell, who is on the air forever here, and I learned a lot from Fred. And that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
You find a mentor you latch onto, and you develop.
And fortunately, I had really good mentors.
Yeah,
because you could have somebody showing you bad habits as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I was very fortunate to have him. Brian really had a stellar career at Hyatt and left the company. He was in corporate, so I always had his support, and he was always looking out for me. And so at one point, I think 1987, I was the only African-American director of sales in the company. So then I had a lot of people, young African-Americans, like, well, how did you do it? And how do I get to it? And it's like, well, you don't want to be like me, but I can show you the road and the journey that I've been on to try to get to where I was at. So I've been, like I said, been very, very blessed. And so as I said, I came to Zenders in 1991, and within 6 months I had this audacity of like, hey, let's have a snow festival. Okay, all right, let's try that.
And here we are
today.
And
here we are today.
As we circle back, take a break, come back, and we'll remind you about all the things happening at Zenders Snowfest after these notes.
For 60 years,
for the Collegiate Alumni Ice Carving Competition, that will start Friday afternoon, and then Friday evening from 4 to 7, and then Saturday morning from 11 to 3. And then they kind of total the points over those 2-day periods to declare a winner for that particular event. So we have like a high school division. The high schow division is actually Thursday and Friday.
I was going to ask if there's a student.
Yeah, we started that years ago.
Yep.
And so the reason behind that is, and it's very, very interesting to see how some individuals have started out in our high school division, and then they went to our state division, and they actually went to our world class. And I think that was a kind of like, to use a sports analogy, we kind of started that to create our farm clubs for, because we're not getting any younger, and so we're just trying to introduce this type of art form to a younger audience. And we couldn't do it without the support of our local art teachers and their programs. They enjoy it. They come out and stand in the cold with their students, and they can't touch the blocks. part of the rules. But what we did, we created a demo block so they can go to the demo block and kind of help the kids to kind of
do this
look
to
at
get this shape.
Yeah, exactly. To look at density and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, it's very cool. So, and we'll also have a little children's division. We have elementary schools that come out and just kind of introduce this whole art form. But we'll have, I think, it's 18 schools representative. We have our state competitions across the street at the Bavarian Inn in that parking lot, and believe we have 15